Awesome. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Dan Shinder here on Drum Talk TV. Yes, this is the Drum Talk TV studio, the other end of it that you've never seen. And we have something new set up and a big announcement, a drum kit giveaway. We're here in Globe, Arizona, and all the way from Kalispell, Montana, we have Sam Welch of Welch Tuning Systems. How are you?
Excellent. How are
Great,
you?
great. It's been great hanging the last couple of days.
Absolutely.
So excited to have Sam here. I met Sam at the Summer NAMM show when I discovered his amazing drums that, quite frankly, a lot of people ridicule, make fun of, say it's a gimmick, say it won't work because of his new tuning system, which we're going to talk about, we're going to demonstrate. And all I got to say is this. Ready? Yeah, I think if you follow the show, you pretty much know that I think I'm pretty nice most of the time, right? But I got to say this. Oh, my wife just gave me the evil eye, Director Enja. Good cop, bad cop, meaning I want to keep everyone in check. Now, if you don't like it, we don't care. I mean, we're caring people. We want you to like it. But if you don't like it, that doesn't give you a license to be it, okay, or to be a. So, if you don't like it, it's not for you. That's okay. You know, and I love when people say, not for me. Just say it's not for me. But I love when people say that and they've never tried it. It's like a little kid saying, yeah, I don't like broccoli. Oh, really? Have you tasted it? No, but I don't like it. What? What? And like this yahoo that got loose on another one of your posts saying, I'm a mathematician and a physicist, and I'm telling you this won't work. Really? Just because you regurgitated a bunch of stuff you learned in college back onto a test, got a certificate on your wall, now you're going to tell us, our ears, that this doesn't work? Well, it sounds great. Let your ears decide. So let's first talk about this. Oh, let's announce the drum set giveaway.
Sounds good.
We are giving away a really, can I use the word bitchin' from the 70s? That was my word, a real bitchin' drum kit, okay? In association with Bosphorus Cymbals. The kit is a shell pack from Sam. Angie's going to show it right now. It's a beautiful piano white. It's my favorite. You're not supposed to have favorites. My favorite out of his whole line, which we'll talk about. And the snare is actually here, the same snare that's on the white kit that'll be in the Drum Talk TV booth. You don't have to be at the NAMM show to win this. You have to have a mailing address in the continuous United States for us to ship it to you. I'm going to personally ship it from here because after the NAMM show, I'm bringing it back and then we will ship it to you. So if you're in Canada, Germany, you could still win. You just need to have an address in the U.S. I could ship it to, and then from there you do what you want. But the kit is beautiful. We're going to talk more about it. We're going to show you some other finishes he has. And while Angela shows you the black satin kit, you know, I've told you this before. I love the fact that you don't have 15 finishes yet, but what I love is that you've given a lot of thought to your first four.
Absolutely.
So you got the high gloss piano white. He's got the black satin, which you're looking at, and then he's got a beautiful blonde maple, which is classic. Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous, and everyone loves a blonde maple kit, right?
That's right.
So there you go. And then actually a close-up of the kit we have here, which I'll show you really close up in a little bit, which is the cherry finish. They're all beautiful, and we're going to give away the white one. It retails for $5,000, and it's worth every penny. It sounds beautiful. What are the sizes of the kit that we're giving away?
It's going to be a 22-inch by 14-inch kick drum. Yep, 12 by 9 rack tom, 16 by 14 floor tom, and a 14 by 8 snare.
And the snare is here, same snare. So you'll hear it. You heard it a little bit. Tomorrow at about 10 a.m. Pacific, we're going to make the announcement of how you sign up for this. And it's really easy. We're just setting up a MailChimp landing page. You'll put in your information. And at 4 p.m. Pacific on Sunday the 19th at the NAMM show, I'm, with the help of someone on our staff, we're going to do a random drawing, and we're going to read off who the winner is right there. So if you're at the NAMM show that day, come by, sign up while you're there. You'll be able to sign up via the link we're going to put in this post from now until then. I'm going to send out a newsletter, so sign up for our newsletter via the sign-up page on the Drum Talk TV Facebook page. There's many different ways to get the info of how to sign up for a random drawing to win that kit. And if you're there in person and you're not one of the ones that wins, I'm going to have about 50 items to give away, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. 50 items to give away to some people who are there but didn't win. I'm going to ask some crazy trivia questions and just give some stuff away because it's fun to do, and we appreciate your support, gathering around the booth. Many other things happening at the booth over the weekend, but this is one where you can really score, baby. So in the meantime, let's go back to Sam and give us a brief sort of time lapse as to how you got from the idea coming in your head from the system to today. Then we'll move the chairs. You'll get behind the kit, play a little more, then demonstrate the tuning, and we'll talk about why, what the benefits are. And I'm going to use a handheld camera, and just got 3 to switch between, plus the one I'll be holding. I'll be able to get really close. You'll be able to tell the age of the tree by the grain. I'll get so close. So tell them, what's your story, man? How'd this happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 4 years ago now, I was a professional musician, or at least a working musician, in Colorado. And I was playing full time. I was teaching. And it was one night in the school that I was teaching at, and I was tuning up the drums for the next day. And the idea for this tuning system popped into my head. And so, over the course of 4 years, I developed it with my good friend Patrick, and who's an engineer. And we went through prototype after prototype to really hone this in, because, I didn't want to just create something that was a gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't want to just, I wanted to not only make tuning easier, but, expand what's possible behind the drum set, and as a drummer myself, as somebody who really cares about the sound and the use of the instrument, it had to be right. And so that's why it took so long to develop.
How long was the prototype process?
I mean, we prototyped for at least a solid 3 years.
Wow.
And then still made small tweaks, for another year after that, because, again, no compromise.
Yeah.
I wanted something that really worked.
And what I love about this so far, the reason why it was so important to me to have Sam here, like, we're going to talk at the NAMM show, do an interview, all that, but I really wanted to humanize the brand. I really wanted you folks to meet the man behind all this who came up with it, and not just look at the concept of something so new to you that you don't accept and you just hack away at it. It's really not fair. And if you still don't like it, that's okay. If you don't like Sam, that's okay. There's nothing not to like. I like Sam, and I don't like anybody. Just kidding. But seriously, I wanted him to tell his story so you'd maybe understand a little bit more about the development and the application, which we'll get more into. But
Absolutely.
Okay, so prototype process took 3 years of blood, sweat, and tears. And being an entrepreneur, I know what there was the most of, other than the money.
Right. Blood.
Yeah. I thought it'd be tears. And then when you sort of got to the end of the prototype service, process, I know that your initial goal was to come up with this tuning system, which you've patented, and then license it.
Yeah. So, initially the idea was that, not to really start a drum company, but to get this tuning system out there so it's available from any drum company, I didn't want to limit it to just one. But, we realized when we brought it to the first NAMM show that it was just so new. A lot of people just didn't understand what was happening. We're so used to tension rods and drum keys. And, it takes a little while to change, right? When something really new comes along, because we've been doing it the same way for a long time. And a lot of people are either stuck in their ways or just don't know of anything else.
Yeah, especially, not exclusively, but especially someone in my age, in their late 50s, that's been playing 50 years. If you're younger, you've been playing 10 years. It could be the same equation, but it's all about change. It's like back in the day, people said, I don't need a telephone. I'm just going to walk over there or go to the telegraph guy or write a letter. I don't need email. I write letters, or I'll just call them. Or I don't need a car. I've got a horse. Well, eventually, the infrastructure of the cities was made as such where you couldn't ride a horse down the 405 from the San Fernando Valley down to West LA and so on. And this is this sort of thing that creates a shift in society. And I hope no one thinks I'm overstating it, but I really believe what you've done is going to create a shift in how drums are looked at, how drums are made, how the process of changing heads and tuning is done. And a lot of people are giving it crap right now, but mark my words, within 10 years, a lot of drum companies and play will adopt this system. In 20 years, our grandkids will be laughing at us going, yeah, my grandpa used to fiddle with these things all around the drum and had these metal things attached that inhibited the sound of the shell. And this is the beginning of that. I wholeheartedly believe that. And I have no stake in this. I'm not getting a commission from any sales or anything like this. I just saw this at the show and got it. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of really spread the word, which I'm trying to help do.
Well, and I very much appreciate that opportunity as well. And the fact that we have people who are contesting it and don't understand it is okay.
Yes.
The fact is you guys care about your instruments just as much as I do. Yeah. I mean, it's an expression, it's something that we love. It's an expression of our time. The time that we've taken to learn this craft.
Right.
Like, I get it, and I welcome the questions and the doubts, because it gives me a chance to show you what this is actually capable of. This is not your Civil War era rope drum.
Yeah.
It is a very highly engineered system with some really cool things going on here that I'll explain once we get the close-ups.
Yeah, real up close.
Yeah.
And like Sam said, the objections are helpful in product development. The feedback is helpful. Being rude and disrespectful doesn't count for anything. That's not what Drum Talk TV was created for. He certainly didn't spend 3 years prototyping to hear that. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it sucks, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. So let's just get that out of the way and let's learn.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So do you have anything else to talk about as far as your journey, or you want to go to the kit?
Well, it's really all about the drums, and we can talk more about the journey later, but let's get into the drums, yeah.
And also, Bill McFadden is watching from No Nut Cymbal Sleeves. So who else is on board with this? Bosphorus cymbals. You're going to get a set of hi-hats and 2 cymbals from Bosphorus, maybe 3.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
And then No Nut Cymbal Sleeves is going to come with the kit, and those are some of the extra goodies I'm giving out, as well as the SimPad shark fin, the drum snare drum mute, as well as a new SimPad product, and samples of Flow by Fairwinds. It's a 100% THC-free CBD cream that I use on my hands for impact pain, because I am a little older. I'm feeling something. We're going to give a bunch of that out. The stuff's amazing. Anyways, let's go back to the drums.
Cool.
I'm going to get out of the way. We'll move our chairs. I'm going to grab the other camera, and he's going to play a few measures and then explain what this does and what some of the applications would be, and I'll kind of chime in because my mind's been going. And I get to keep this kit for a month or 12 and make videos and do some of my lives here. So I'm really excited about it, because as you know, I play a big kit. I love playing a small kit. It makes me play completely differently. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Here we go. And thanks for taking time to join us, folks. We really appreciate it. Open your mind, clear the slate, and drink the Kool-Aid. Just kidding. All right, let me get out of the way, hon. Explain what's going on and what the application would be.
Absolutely. So what we have here is one point of adjustment that is tuning the entire drum. So this drum is working as a whole. The top head and the bottom head and the shell and everything is working together. So by turning this knob here, what it's doing is it's either tightening or loosening the tension on this cable. This is a high tensile strength cable. It's very, very strong. I know a lot of people are worried about it breaking. This cable has a very high tensile strength. It's braided stainless steel. You know, a drum is not under that much tension. You can see I can just bend the wires right here.
In fact, show them the effect you showed me earlier.
Oh, sure, yeah. So send the snare wires off here.
I love that.
So you've got this cable that's running through these pulleys. And now, as you can see, these pulleys actually adjust. So what happens is as the drum gets tighter, those pulleys pull in, exactly.
And they're not touching the shell. You have no lugs inhibiting the resonance and the singing of your shell, which I just love that. It's like, imagine if you had a stapler, a stuffed animal, a Tonka toy taped to the body of an acoustic guitar. It would not sound the same. And that's what we're doing when we have lugs. No offense to any other drum brands, but when we have lugs on our shells, it's inhibiting. It's like you're hugging it.
Right, right. So there's up to 90% less holes drilled in the shell and hardware mounted to the shell. So the result of that, for one, the drum is open. You know, it can really breathe and resonate. It doesn't have all that hardware choking it up. But also, the drum sounds really good in more places. It's like it has more sweet spots because you don't have to get all of that other hardware to resonate. So whether you're up high or going lower.
Show them how low, show them the range. From a 13-inch drum, that's incredible. Everybody, can you hear us? Like with me back here? Maybe I need to grab the mic. Bring it closer. One sec. Can you switch cameras for a sec? I've only got like 2. Okay, sorry. So I apologize, folks. I don't know how well you heard any of that, so we'll start from the beginning. No, just kidding. So go ahead and explain.
Okay, so yeah, you know, again, because you don't have all that hardware on the shell, like I said, 90% less holes on the shell, just 4 holes for this tensioner here. So it has more sweet spots throughout the tuning range.
That's how low that goes for a 13-inch drum. Is it 13?
12.
12, just kidding, 12. Listen to this.
And you can go all the way down. Back up.
And how up? How high up? That's awesome. Sounds like a timbale when you do that.
Right. And so because both heads are always working together, you can change tuning instantly. You don't have to mess around with the relation of the top and bottom heads because they're both moving up and down together.
And by the way, that's the biggest pushback that you've gotten is people saying there has to be an interval between the top and bottom head. I was never taught that. Not that it's not true, but it's just a newer thing that I think people have been sort of brainwashed to believe is a must, and it's not a must. And proof is that kit doesn't have any bottom heads at all, and it sounds great. So you let your ears decide is really the thing. And if someone wants a different ratio between the top and bottom, what do they do?
Yeah, so, again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have the bottom head a little bit different, pitch than the top head. And really what it comes down to is, does the drum sound good to you, right? Do what sounds good to you. But right. So with our system, everything is tensioned together, but equal tension does not necessarily mean equal pitch. So now it's based on the combination of heads that you choose. Now there's so many different types of heads out there. There's thick heads and thin and, 2-ply and single-ply and coated and uncoated. And so you have all these different combinations that are all going to give you a different tonal relationship. The only way that you'll have the same pitch top and bottom is if you have the same head top and bottom. And if you like your bottom head to be a little bit higher than your top head, then you need to use a little bit thinner head. So you can still get all of these different things that are going to give you your sound. and lots of options because I know what it's like to want to have a unique sound, and so you can still mess around with that. But really, what this does is every time you sit down at your drums, they're going to sound good. Those heads are never going to be fighting each other. I was a working musician in Colorado, so the temperature's really cold or really hot, and you're pulling drums out of a cold car, and you set them up on stage, and you get them all tuned up, and then they're sitting under the stage lights while you're waiting to play, and then you start playing, and it changes. And what happens? You're stuck with that tuning, right? You're not going to bust out your drum key and try to find the issue mid-set.
Right.
And I've definitely had an experience, and maybe some of you have too, where a drum actually sounds so bad that I'll actually avoid it for a set.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a travesty in my mind. I mean, we spend so much time learning our craft, and I want our instruments to reflect that. And so now, if your drum's a little too high, you don't have to avoid it for that song. You can very easily bring it down. You're not stuck with one tuning. But also, it really opens up a whole new avenue of playability. You can actually tune to the key of the song if you want to. It's really fun, and I highly recommend it. But even just tuning to the genre,
Yeah, if you're in a band that plays like rock and then pop and then funk or whatever, you can change the sound of your kit.
Exactly, yeah, because you're complementing the character of the music, right? And, one tuning, I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all tuning,
Right.
But that's what we're used to because that's the only choice we have. Unless we're carrying around a kit like Dan's. Yep, which I generally don't. Then it's hard to have that, all those options on stage.
And I just want to tell everyone real quick, Sam, that we will take questions in a moment. We'll sit back down in front of the kit. We'll take questions. Sam will take questions. I'll facilitate them. And then we'll both take turns playing a little bit. I've had so much fun playing on the kit, even just a little bit that I have. And I think the biggest win for me out of this whole thing is, I guess I could do that, is being able to tune the kit between songs during a set for the different genres of music you're playing, and the fact that there's no lugs inhibiting the singability of your shells. I just think that's tremendous to be able to do that.
Something else that's kind of cool. So, I'm sure there's some people out there who like really low-tuned drums, and I know I certainly do. One thing that's really nice is there's no tension rods that are going to loosen up. If you have your bottom head a little too loose and those tension rods are loose, and
part of the head's rippled on one side.
Right, then it's I've looked down at the end of a gig and had a tension rod laying there, you know. So for one, it's like, well, how long did that tuning actually last that I spent a half hour tuning, right? But now with these drums, you can actually go a lot lower.
Amazing. It sounds like a gong drum.
Right.
It really does.
And then, instead of carrying multiple snare drums,
that's so cool.
10 snares in one.
And not only that, you've got 30 because you've got the trick throw off, which you have the three positions as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So, it really just opens up a whole new world. And that's what we're trying to get people to just understand and just, and if you still disagree with it, like, it's okay. All we ask is you try it for yourself, And if it's not right for you, that's okay too. There's not a one-size-fits-all for everybody. But, I'm very confident that if you sit down and you try these and you hear them, to be able to just hear the drum and not overanalyze what it's doing, but, just sit down and play it. And if it feels good, I really think that that's what you're going to experience is that, the sound is impressive, the feel is amazing, and then the versatility just opens a whole new world.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take some questions. Let's sit back down in front of the kit, and then we'll play a little bit. If you could switch cameras, please. Ensha, you can tell us if we're in the right place.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hey, Chip Ritter, Tony Talma, congratulations on your 2 new daughters. I read that article. Dude, we got to talk. Come to the Drum Talk TV booth. I want to interview you, and I would love to touch on that. Hey, from Japan, greetings. Is that Cheetah? Maybe one of Cheetah's parents? If I'm wrong, I apologize. Konnichiwa. Black Ross, how you doing? Ray, nice to see you. Let's see who else is. We got some comments here. Kevin Mania says, okay, I've been excited about this since I heard about it at NAMM last year. So, if I'm a guy that wants to have the top head slightly different from the bottom, is this for me? Or is it only if both have the same tension? So, Kevin, I don't know if you were on board when we were explaining that, but Sam explained. Well, I'll let you explain. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So both heads do tension together, but you're able to get a different relationship of pitch based on the combo of heads you choose. So under the same tension, a thinner head will produce a little bit higher pitch than a thicker head. And there's so many different head combinations out there. You still have a lot of options to find that sound that you really like.
Yeah.
But again, the beauty of taking all of that hardware off the shell, it seems it's different for a lot of people to tune both heads at the same time, but the benefits are so worth it, especially when you see them try it in person.
Yeah.
Because again, that allows us to get all that hardware off the shell. I mean, only 4 holes are drilled in the shell.
Yeah, think of stuffing a violin with Kleenex or a rag, or think of hugging an acoustic guitar while it's being played. That's what our lugs do on our drums compared to this concept. There's almost nothing touching the drum. Thank you for that question. And thanks, everybody, for watching. Charlie McAlpine out in Scotland. Michael, Gregor, what's happening? Another Greg as well. Scott Jallet, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says he hopes to win it. John Ashmore says, hope it's mine. So for those of you who don't know, hey, Paul Walker, we are doing a complete drum set giveaway, complete with a set of Bosphorus cymbals at the NAMM show Sunday, January 19th at 4 p.m. Pacific. We're going to broadcast it right here on the Drum Talk TV Facebook page from the Drum Talk TV booth. You don't have to be there to win. Tomorrow, well, depending on when you're watching this, Friday the 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific, we're going to be back doing this, and the post is going to have a link where you can go and sign up for the random drawing that I will be doing with one of my staff members at the Drum Talk TV booth. All you have to do is sign up with all the information we ask for and live in not live, but have a receiving address that I can send you the kit to. I personally am going to send you the kit that's in the continuous United States. So Zarly, just because you're in Scotland doesn't mean you can't enter. You just need to have a shippable address in the continuous United States. For those of you who don't know what continuous United States means, it means it doesn't include Alaska and Hawaii or some of our other prestigious properties like Puerto Rico and Guam and Wyoming. Oh, no, Wyoming's included. So let's see who else has questions. No other questions. Joe Manzo, Brad Burge, hey, how you doing? Fernando, how are you? Haven't seen you on in a while. Any other questions about these fascinating drums? And if not, we'll take turns playing a little bit, and I'll show you some more close-ups while Sam's playing. But again, one of the biggest benefits that I love is not just the fact that the shells aren't inhibited by lugs, but the fact that in between songs or portions of your set, let's say you do a gig, and you're doing all cover tunes. I know that's a reach, but let's just pretend. And let's say the first set is all funk. You have your drums tuned one way. Now you're going to go into pop. You tune them all up, tighten it all up a bit. Then you're going to go into some hard classic rock. You tune them. There's been no other way to do that quickly, if anyone even does that ever. So they're stuck with, no matter how good your kit sounds, sometimes it's not tuned to the sound of the genre you're playing, and that's something that I think is fascinating about this.
Yes, absolutely. And, one fact, too, is that a lot of people struggle with tuning drums.
Period. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've been playing for a really long time. And I'm not the best drummer out there, but I was a working drummer. I've played a lot of gigs, and I got paid to do it. And, I don't know. I never quite wrapped my head around. I mean, well, actually, I should say I could get them to sound good, but not consistently. Not every gig. And it was a struggle for me. And the fact that so many people struggle to tune their drums, just imagine, that applied to any other instrument. Like, what if violin players couldn't tune their violin?
Yeah,
that would be really hard to listen to.
Imagine that orchestra.
Right. I mean, and it seems kind of ridiculous that we've just accepted that our drums are just okay.
Yeah, or maybe I don't need to learn, or I think they sound okay, or I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to go bang and boom, boom.
Or
And
I
I've
just
heard
need
drummers say
another
that.
roll of duct tape, and then they'll sound good.
Oh, and that's the thing. Nothing against. You know what? I'm going to leave that alone. But
let me tell you my experience
Sure.
with dampening.
and then I do have one from years ago. Go
So
ahead.
there is nothing wrong with dampening,
Right.
but I would dampen my drums to hide tones that I didn't want. And so it was using dampening to try to fix my poor tuning versus using dampening just for that effect, just for that dampening effect.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would
Right.
use tape or, moon gel was my, preference, but it wasn't because I wanted to dampen my drums. It was because I didn't like how they sounded. And I
Yeah.
thought they sounded a little bit better when I put some stuff on.
Right.
Ever since, I developed this, I stopped using dampening things. Like, maybe I'll throw something on the snare for a different sound,
Right.
but I love the way these drums sound without anything on them. And,
Right.
And that's what I think dampening should be used for. And that's, again, personal opinion. Everyone's going to have their own opinion, but that was my experience.
Yeah, my experience was from a different end of the process. In 1983, before most of you were born, I was in the recording studio with my big blue kit, an even bigger version. There's some of the drums that aren't even set up. And for 2 hours, the sound engineer is effing around trying to get not my sound, but what he thought was a good sound. But I had my sound, and it ended up being my wallet duct taped to the side of, you've all seen this, I'm sure, and done it at some point, depending on how old you are, next to the hoop, this wad of duct tape with a wallet with just the right other little pieces of foam to get it to sound a certain way. Did it sound good on the recording? It did, but it wasn't my sound. It wasn't the sound we wrote the song with. It wasn't the sound that we rehearsed with. It wasn't the sound we performed with. And it wasn't the sound on our demo that got us the recording. So you need, as a drummer, to take control of your sound, and you need to expand your horizons on how to get that sound. And part of that is exactly what Sam was talking about, learning how to tune and what additional elements might suit. Is it dampening? Is it not? Different things like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So Kevin now says, that is what I was thinking about, the ways to have difference in pitch if you want it. Thanks. I think this is killer. Can't justify buying a new kit, but it's on my punch list someday. Great innovation. Thanks for thinking outside the box. And Kevin, enter the drawing. It's a random drawing. And just show the kit again, please. It's for this beautiful Welch Tuning Systems piano white drum kit. It is beautiful. We have the snare right here, which En's just showing a close-up of. And tomorrow at about 10 a.m. Pacific, Friday the 10th, we're going to do this again, and we'll have the link in there of where you can sign up. Sign up for our newsletter as well via the sign-up button on the Drum Talk TV page. We're going to send out newsletters quite frequently throughout the NAMM show on how you can sign up, and a couple more times leading up to it. So sign up, you might win it. All you need is a deliverable address in the contiguous United States.
And Dan, I actually like to add something about that kit.
Sure.
It's actually a very special kit too, because it's one of the first ones that we put out.
Wow.
It's actually one of our demo kits, so it's not an on the market kit, so it's very special.
Yeah.
And
wait, I gotta say, when you say demo, I don't want them to think it's beat up or secondhand.
No.
It is just like, it's pristine. It's gorgeous.
In fact, I think it might have been the first white kit we made.
Wow.
I think it might have been. I'll have to double check that, but either way, it's a very special drum set.
Wow.
And very excited to see it go to a good home. Yeah.
I wonder if I could win. Can I enter?
Enter to win.
I can't. None of our staff can enter, so don't worry. So we'll watch for more questions. You want to play some different genres and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
it.
It's all yours. And then maybe I'll just tap around a little bit. Everyone's used to seeing me bluster away on the big blue kid.
Right.
And this is just a whole different experience, and I love it. I'm going to grab the other camera and get some close-ups.
Cool.
So, Enja, when I see that I'm live, I'll move in for the... Okay, all right.
And so I'll play and kind of talk about it too.
Sure.
Because,
Oh, hopefully they can hear. Let me move this closer. Let's do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still speak up.
So one very cool thing about this is being able to explore the range of the kick drum. That's something I've never really done before because I was never able to sit at my kit, play the kick drum, and tune it at the same time. You know, you usually have to go around to the front of the drum set and tighten a couple and then hit it and see how it sounds.
Thought of that. That's a whole other benefit.
It is. You know, you can sit behind the kit.
Where is it so I can show?
Right here.
Okay.
So you can go really low.
That is crazy.
So it just, again, it opens this new world. So let's say, you know, I often like to play like kind of jazzier stuff. And in that case, I would probably tune my drums up a little bit higher. You know, so again, I'm able to explore the full range of the drums for one, you know, before, and others might have, you know, different experience, but I would kind of get my drums where they sounded good, and I kind of just leave it there.
Right.
I never would really explore what the drums were capable of.
You know why? Because we didn't have that capability to do that with such ease, so it doesn't come to mind to do that. There's, you know, altogether, including the bass drum, just the top heads alone, how many tuning points are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's like 17 or 22. So how would you ever do that?
Right,
you know?
exactly. Yeah. So, you know, it's really connected me with the drums, you know, and exploring the different you know, the different intervals between the two, or, you know, and these, you know, you can tune them wherever you want to, and that's really inspired me musically. This is a 14 by 8 snare drum, okay? So you guys have heard it as a nice high and tight snare drum. Well, what if we turned it into a floor tom? this is one of those cool things. Normally, I know a lot of people don't like to mess with the bottom head of their snare drum. But, it's really important to look at this as a different kind of snare drum because it's moving both heads together. It kind of turns into a snom. It's not, I'm not leaving that bottom head tabletop tight because it's actually moving both of them at the same time. And the real benefit of this, in my mind, at least from a snare sound perspective, and it might be hard to hear it through the mics and such, but there's, let's see, normally you'd have, 40 holes drilled in a snare drum for the hardware. That's a lot of holes in the snare drum, plus all the hardware.
And a lot of hardware.
And a lot of hardware, yeah, absolutely. So this has 4 holes drilled for this tensioner. Again, this is all free-floating at these pulleys and stuff. So the sound of this snare, it's something you've got to experience in person. But, it's one of those things like at the NAMM show. And if you've ever been to a NAMM show, you know how loud that hall is. And there's drums everywhere, and everyone's playing. And I've had people come up to me and say, I could hear that snare from the other side of the drum hall.
That's crazy.
That's a testament to what happens when you take all that hardware off the shell. I think it really highlights the wood. To me, it's like, what's the point of a great piece of wood if you've got a bunch of hardware choking it up?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, Dan, do you want to hop in here?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. This is exciting. I don't know where to begin. This way up, get a bit more of almost like a second line, sort of Stanton, more slushy. There we go. And I'm going to tune this down. Seen the bridge? Where's the confounded bridge? first of all, no matter how you have it tuned, they just sing. They sound so good. I don't know what to say. They just sound so good. They feel good, too. I'm sure you drummers would agree. We'll come up there again. I'm sure you drummers would agree that the better your stuff sounds, the better you play, because it's just more fun and you have more confidence. You know, I'll just hold it. At least for me, and I need all I can get. Any questions? Let's see. I'll let you hold this, and I'm going to take a look. Mark Wallace says, only a matter of time before this is an industry standard. Thank you very much, Mark Wallace. That's what I was saying earlier. I was saying I bet in 10 years, most brands will have this. And in 20 years, our grandkids will be, well, my grandkids are laughing at me now for other reasons. But in 20 years, our grandkids will be laughing at us saying, yeah, my grandpa and grandma used to have to turn all these things around the drum. And they had all this metal on the drum, hugging the drum, preventing it from singing, and you're changing that. This is your patent, your idea, and I agree. So, Mark, thanks for understanding. That's so cool. And Mark Scopel says, hi, Samuel Welch.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Tim Weathersby from Vegas. We were just there a couple weeks visiting a bunch of the kids. Abraham Mendez, Bryce Butler, thanks for joining us. Brent Larkay, how are you? Rodrigo and Jay. Juan Jose Facil, thank you so much for joining us. Any other questions? Well, we've got Sam right here. Oh, John Halliday says, well, that doesn't work for me up here in Canada. Oh, well. John, I'm curious why it doesn't work for you if you haven't tried it yet.
I think he might be talking about the giveaway because he's in Canada. However, if you have a friend who lives in the U.S.
Yeah, if you have an address we can ship it to, you can still win. There's a company, for those of you, maybe this doesn't work for Canada, maybe it does. There's a company in New Jersey called Fast Forward Freight. We're using them to ship all our gear to Bermuda in June. Oh, I could talk about that now. For an event that we're doing. So check out Fast Forward Freight in New Jersey, and if you live in Western Europe or wherever, you can still get the kit. We just need an address in the U.S. for me to ship it to you. I personally am going to ship it unless I change my mind and keep it. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. But Sam and I actually were talking, if you don't mind turning this camera on for a second. Sam and I were looking at my blue kit and talking about how, not how, because I know you know how, but the prospect of making those size drums with his concept right here with the pulleys and the tensioner. I would love that on that kit. Oh my God, you imagine the versatility I would get out of that 8, 10, 13, 14, 16, 18, and then my 20-inch bass drum. And I got 3 other drums that aren't set up with that kit. So yeah, that would be cool. Thank you, dear. And don't worry, I didn't show your face. She's kind of like a lot of ladies, a little weird about being on camera when it's unexpected. So yeah, enter 10 a.m. Pacific, Friday the 10th. Sam and I will be right back here. What camera? We're going to be right back here, and we're going to have the link in the post of where you can sign up. I'm also going to be sending out newsletters. It's a $5,000 retail kit. For those of you joining us late, we're going to show it one more time. It's a beautiful high-gloss piano white finish. And Sam says it was your first finish you came up with.
I think it was the first white kit that we made.
The first white kit.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the first finish you came up with?
Let's see. Actually, the first was this cherry.
The
right
cherry?
There. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And just got the cherry there. And it's beautiful. I showed a close-up. In fact, you can go from that picture to this camera, and I'll show the grain really up close. It's just beautiful. It's got a very high gloss.
Yeah, and so this is actually like a 12 coat lacquer finish on these drums.
Wow.
And it's not even buffed out. It's actually that high gloss is from the high quality lacquer itself. So yeah, we really did not make any compromises. They're 8-ply USA made shells. And actually the snare drums are 10-ply, 100% maple. We use 2.3 millimeter triple flange tubes. On the snares, we use die-cast hoops. Everything's very high quality. Die-cast hardware.
You can see it's not touching the drum. Look at that.
Yep.
Isn't that amazing?
And again, this right here is, one of the things that makes our system work so well is that
the flexibility, the pivot.
Exactly, because that allows, as the drum's tightening up, it allows these to move with it. And that allows this whole thing to equalize. And that's why they sound so good. Is because you have this equalizing effect going around the top and bottom head, so everything is just working as a whole.
How interesting. You could go back. Thanks. Something came to mind when you were talking about that. Senior moment. Any other questions? My mind is all over the place. I mean, I'm thinking of how it felt when I was playing. I'm looking at the big blue kit thinking, all right. And I want the white finish. I've already decided. I've had blue drums since those were painted in 1983 with the color iMix. But there's something about the white. I know I've said this to you over and over. They all look beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're all beautiful. They're all high quality. And, I know what I was going to say. But there's something about the white kit that for me personally, with that big gold, what do you call it, tensioner?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it looks like a machine head on a big stand-up bass.
Yep.
It's gold. The other hardware is high gloss. It looks like a fine piece of jewelry or crystal or something. What I was going to say is that we've seen some comments of saying, that might work. It's not a concept. There are kits out there in the marketplace. He's already got a few dealers. Rups in
Colorado. Yeah, Denver.
Colorado Springs?
No, he's in Denver.
Denver, that's what I said. In Denver, and they ship nationwide.
Yep, they do.
And whom else do you have that we can plug?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Fresh Coast Music in Milwaukee.
Okay.
We've got Richie's Music Center in New Jersey.
Great.
Let's see. We've got Stable Drums in Ohio. We've got, the Shed Drum Shop in North Carolina. And, we're building our distribution now. If you have a local drum shop you really like, go in and tell them about it because we are expanding our distribution.
Send them the link to this. Send
Totally.
them the link
Absolutely.
to Sam's website, which I will put in the post because we had to reboot, remember? So I think I may have left that out, but it's welchtuningsystems.com or send them this video. I think this is a pretty good explainer video, and it's not scripted.
Yep. Well, and if you want to hear some really high quality audio and video of these drums,
your website.
Check out the website. Yeah, absolutely. We did a really cool video series with Rups Drums and some Denver local professional musicians, and you get to see all these guys play different styles,
right? And
approach the kit in different ways.
And they all talk about it and how they all give their different perspective from the different types of drummers and musicians that they are, which is great, rather than having 4 heavy metal guys or 4 swing guys or whatever. So
yep, totally. And
really
it was
cool.
Really high quality audio. We did it in a recording studio. So many times we post videos and we'll get comments on the sound. Well, unless you have nice mics on the kit, you're not going to get an accurate representation.
Plus
of the
Facebook,
sound.
Facebook is compressing it. YouTube, plus the crappy device you're listening. I mean, there's so many factors: the internet connection, the weather.
Yep, and
your
that's
mom.
and that's why we made those videos to give you a chance to put some good headphones on.
Yeah.
Watch those videos. You can really get a feel for how they sound. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I'm gonna do one last thing here, if I could find the right button. Just gonna share this somewhere. Actually, we'll do it after. So, folks, watch for us tomorrow. We're gonna give you the link of where you can sign up to possibly win a $5,000 retail price. Beautiful Welch Tuning Systems drum kit. It's the white kit that Enta is flying into the screen right now. It is so beautiful that I not only want one, I want one in all the sizes that my big 11-piece kit is in. Can you make timpani drum?
Not yet, but you never know. And also, this kit is coming with Bosphorus cymbals.
That's right. It's coming with a Bosphorus hi-hats, a ride, 2 crashes. That comes with the kit.
And if you guys haven't tried Bosphorus, oh gosh, they are amazing cymbals.
Yeah, these are more on the jazz side. We talked with Bosphorus, and they're going to give something from their line that is kind of like suitable for a variety of different styles and genres, not knowing who's going to win. We thought that'd be the best thing to do.
Very nice handmade cymbals in Turkey. Yep.
In Turkey. Yep, absolutely. Awesome stuff. I'm just checking one last time. Josh, how's it going? All right, so I think we're done for now. Join us Friday the 10th, 10 a.m. Pacific, right here. We're going to do this again and give you the link to where you can enter to win. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. Sam Welch and myself, Dan Shinder, here in Globe, Arizona at Drum Talk TV Studios. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.